Hello everyone, this is Enzo Eigen, the Alliance for Loki. And I was in the gym last night and of course watching YouTube videos, and I saw Vegas top 10 and it made me think about my own rankings for 2024. So here's all the champions for 2024. There are two who are technically not released yet, She-Hulk and Thanos, and one I don't have as a 7-star, North Star. But everyone's more or less been released. And like every year, there's some amazing champions, there's some good champions, there's some champions who are okay, and there's some champions where I don't know if I will ever play. And so yeah, the usual variety. I would say what characterizes 2024 is, this is his 10th year in the game, and so now every champion has to be really intricate because, you just have to come up with new mechanics. So the developers have to come up with new champion mechanics. And I think Enchantress epitomizes this. I think that's the right word. And so if you look at her, I mean, it's literally like a manual equivalent to some like some kitchen appliances as far as, all the things she can do and all of her spells and all the specials and how they work and the extra damage and all these things. And so, of course, as time has gone on, characters have become more complex because they sort of have to be. And of course, she also has like the swipey mechanics during the specials too, which is, something that's been introduced more and more in the game. And so, definitely 2024 is seeing the evolution of the champion and new mechanics. And I would say like Isophine is also probably a great example of that with her shattered power bar where you can choose which special to throw. And so 2024, some lots of reading and some interesting champs, but there are definitely some great ones, and let's go through the list. And so I've sort of gone as a tier list and made that. So let's just take a look at the list, and we'll start here at the bottom. So there's 25 champions I can rate right now, and these are unfortunately the bottom 5. And so I would just reveal all 5 of them, and then we'll talk about each one. So let's see, at the very bottom, Patriot. And so poor Patriot, he absolutely was made as a hard counter to Photon and absolutely missed the mark. I mean, he should have been like the Spiral to what's her name? To Serpent, or a Negasonic Teenage Warhead to Bullseye, or Jack to Onslaught. But I still find there's actually better counters to Photon than him. And then after that, I don't think he really does anything. And so, unfortunately, Patriot, he's a champion. It just was not so good. Silver Sable, same thing. Just a lot of interesting things going on with her, but nothing seems to really work together. North Star is a champion. I don't know if I've played him more than once. I hear he's good for long form. Just, again, champion where too much was happening with him and it just doesn't work that well. Leader, I think, is a classic example of this group, and he's a champion I actually liked and started trying to play and really was psyched about. I found the hardest thing is that you have the green door, this narrow band in the battleground, and then you have to light intercept, and then you have to do a certain number of combos off of that. It's a lot of things that you have to do to get him to work. And then even if you get him to work, I don't feel like you get that much reward from it. So complex with a lot of intricacies, but the payoff is not that great. And that's sort of what I see about these champions. The Deathless Vision, I feel like he's actually maybe the worst of the 3 visions now. And so I really like Original Vision still. It was from, 2014 when the game started. He's still my favorite Vision. And so, just feel like he just doesn't give you the power control that one from Vision. Okay, now we have the Fair. I would say these are champions who are good to play, but didn't quite live up to expectations. And this is going to be a very interesting list. This might be my most controversial list. I think Destroyer is an interesting mystic, good on defense. I don't really see too much utility on offense. On defense, I feel like he's pretty easily counterable. Jack is a good hard counter and is sort of good against mutants, but I compare him to Negasonic. Like Negasonic is just crushes the skill champion. So she's such a good counter. Like Jack, I don't know. I don't find him quite that crushing. The other thing about him is he's a very simplistic defender, and so I have a lot of trouble when there's lots of other counters I can use instead of Jack, to Onslaught, for instance. And yet he doesn't give me anything on defense, really. And so that's Battlegrounds talk, I know. And then I don't really see him in other content as much. So I feel like he missed, or not missed. He's okay. He's fair, as I say. Isofina, I think, is also going to be controversial. I've just played her a little bit. I feel like she is such competition with some amazing Mystic women, White Tiger, Spiral, Shathra. And I think she's sort of like a classic Mystic with her Nullify, but I don't really feel like she gives you too much other than that. And so many Cosmics are Nullify immune. I'm sort of questioning how good she's going to be. Beta Ray Bill, I think this might be the most controversial. He came in so hyped, so much hype. I don't think he lived up to it. He did not live up to it. He had some cool mechanics about smashing armors, where he had the Pulverize, and it seems like he could do great damage, but I find ramping up his damage a little bit complicated. And yeah, he's sort of leader-esque in that there's a few things you have to do to get the reward. Granted, I feel like his reward is better, but if you don't get those, it's pretty fair. And the last is Arcade. Arcade is an interesting champion. Loved him in the comics. He does a lot, but nothing great. Reasonably good defender in the current meta. Really annoying defender. But he's also another champion where I feel like it's pretty easily counterable. And in the end, as long as you figure out how to play him, and just not that fun or interesting on offense, just a little too much that he's trying to do. Okay, now we have the good. So this brings us to the top 10. So this is champions that I think are really fun to play, but just aren't maybe the all-consuming, amazing champions of 2024. So I feel like this list is going to be an interesting list. Ironheart, another iron person, adding to our list of many of them. Lots of interesting utility. You can choose between like Rupture or Incinerate at the beginning, which is cool. Really gives her like a broad base of different damages. And then, of course, it has the rest of the thing, the regen, the armor, and has the tracking, which is interesting too. We can get enough debuffs up, can do reasonably good damage. Spider-Punk, I feel also is sort of the same type of champion, has rupture immunity, puts on a lot of ruptures, can do big SP2 damage, and just really is cool animations and fun to play. So like him a lot. A little bit tricky on defense because you can't really intercept him unless you have an evade counter. King Groot is classic King Groot, except he's Incinerate based as opposed to poison based. He's a champion, lots of health. You can't power drain him, bleed immunity. When you get his Furies up, he can have a big SP2, lots of regen, basically like the classic elements of 2017 and now in 2024. Count Nefaria, he's a champion I've struggled a lot with. I feel like a lot of people like him. He's a challenging champion for me. I think he has a lot of interesting utility, the way you sort of build him up. But the thing I struggle with the most is getting the counter off the last hit to parry of the opponent's special that you have to parry, to evade, to counter for the energy vulnerability for the big damage. That one mechanic I really struggle with. I just, would have to know all the animations well enough of the champions, SP1s or SP2s. And then getting that done, just has not been easy for me. I feel like it's a little bit too complex, but still a fun champion, still really interesting, and can do a lot of damage, so he's definitely good. And last but not least is Enchantress. It's probably mostly for her defensive ability, but I do like to play her. I think she's a fun champion to play. I don't think she's that great a champion to play as far as like if you want a powerful champion, but she is really interesting with her spells and everything you can do with them. So yeah, I think she's a very a good champion for this year. Probably mostly a defense, but also fun if you just want to play a fun champion. Now we have the second half of the top 10, the amazing group. And so the amazing group is this right here. So we have Scream. I think Scream is going to be one of these new wave cosmics that is amazing. Like, she has a lot going for her. She basically has Beta Ray Bill's, I feel like, mechanic about dealing with the unblockable and armor, while also being able to like hold, charge heavy and auto block, which is really cool. And then big damage and just, lots of buffs, lots of, cosmic intricacies. And so I think she's going to be really good. She's like, for me, sort of like a Medusa, Hulkling, tied together, and yeah, I feel like she's gonna have a lot of use in this game. I'll be honest, I have not played her much. I'm waiting for the Titan Crystal, hopefully to dupe her, and then I'll take her to rank 3. But I think she's gonna be a really effective champion in my Battleground deck, and just for like general questing, and maybe even war purposes. Dust I struggled with where I could put her. I had her everywhere from like top 4 to like sort of where she ended up. Dust is of course a good defender. I also do like playing her in offense. I had some great Atuma matchups in the last meta, the power gain meta, because you can get that grit passive off your SP1 with Sandstorm up and then not worry about the unstoppable. So I think she's really fun to play offensively, even though she tends to be more of a defensive champion. And yeah, just an interesting, fun, cool, lots of mechanics like the Sandstorm and everything else about her. Dazzler, I really wanted to put Dazzler number 1 because I like her a lot. She's super fun to play. I think she is going to be the most powerful attacker of this year. I think once too, I can figure out a little more how to play her efficiently just to get her blasting things. She will be, she might move up a few ranks in this. She has a lot of good utility on offense. She has the dashing dash, which is cool. She gets that pursuit, and she does a lot of damage. And that's sort of her game. And she's nullify immune too. And she uses dodge instead of dex, which means, even against Serpent, I don't have to worry about his specials anymore. I just dodge him, which is so nice. After that, we have White Tiger. White Tiger is, as I said, there's so many amazing Mystic women this year, and they all are sort of similar in that they have some type of power control. I'd think of the 3, White Tigers is the most modest, so just a little bit of power control. But again, she can do lots of quick attacks, and when she's awakened at high sig, that burst at the end, really powerful. So I find her really good against a lot of fights and just can take things down quickly and fun to play. Prowler, he is the best looking champ of 2024. I love his animations and his color and his whole look. Just that alone makes he deserves to be amazing. But on top of that, the way you have an intricate playstyle that works. I think that's what separates him from some of the other lower down champions is like Leader has an intricate playstyle, but it doesn't really work. His works. Get the Incinerate on, get up to your special 2, make sure you have the Incinerate, do the Falter, do the SP2, boom, like lots of cool damage. And even if you can't do that, like you don't play him ideally, he's still fun and an effective champion. So you don't have to like be perfect or play him perfectly to still enjoy playing him and have him be effective. Spiral is again a champion. I know she's a hard counter to Serpent, and she does that so well. Like boom, there goes Serpent. Good power control, like again, a step up from White Tiger. And yeah, I find her effective in lots of matchups. The Rupture debuff is really good. Very few champions are immune to it. And just her playstyle was fun and interesting. And so I think she's going to be one of the top champions this year as far as her, or one of the most amazing champions this year, as far as her effectiveness in many different places in the game. Okay, well, this brings us to the very last group, the top. You should be able to figure out most of these. We have 4 in the very, very top. These are champions I feel like are sort of like must have in your deck or in your collection. So number 4, like when we talk about controversy, I feel like here comes the controversy. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She, I feel like, is one of the most unique champions of 2024 and in the game. The fact that she only does passive effects is so powerful. I mean, I think it's hard to understate like the difference that she has compared to every other champion in this game because of that. You can stun them, you can put on Incinerates unless they're Incinerate immune, and all these things stick, and hey, can't get erased until we get the power, immune to passive effects, I guess. But I think she's an incredible champion, like a hard counter to so many specific skill in the game, and then very usable against so many other champions of the game. Really good on defense too, with that annoying evade and the fact that a lot of non-contact attacks. She just sort of does it all. And I mean, her damage isn't great, but as a rank 3, her damage is solid enough that keeps her relevant. And of course, damage is not the only criteria, but I just find the specialty of her ability is so interesting and so much fun to play too. I really enjoy it. And I think she's one of the most unique, cool, interesting champions that we've seen in a long time. Now we have my girl, Shathra. She's another champion I want to put at number 1. Shathra is old school power control. Like, when we had in Magic way back in 2014, you could lock down a champion and that was it. Same with OG Vision. She is now in that like top 3 of power control champions. So we have Magic, Vision, and Shathra. Basically, after the enemy throws an SB1, if you play it right, they will not throw another special again. You can totally lock them down. She's a very risky but cool play style, which really rewards like just really like high stress, intense gameplay. Super fun, beautiful champion. I love like the black motif. She's just such a stealthy champion. And yeah, I mean, it's so nice to finally have a champion again where you can just like lock him down and just say, no more power for you, which again, I feel like is something we've been missing for a long time. Maybe Dr. Doom, was he 18, 17? I can't remember, was the last time we had such a good, powerful power control champion. And so very happy to see another one and enjoy playing her. And again, I think she strikes that really good balance of fun playing, really good damage with amazing utility, which makes her one of the top champions. Bullseye is such a cool champion. I love playing him on offense. I can't tell you how many times I've just like used him on offense because I just find him so much fun. Against Thing, he's a great counter. He puts those bleeds on, keeps the rock stacks down. The fact that he doesn't miss is really cool. Makes him so complicated in many defensive matchups, but really helpful in offense. The fact he can do this big chain of the SB2 and SB1 with a relic, you could do basically like a 20-hit combo practically in a row with him. I find him really fun. I mean, his damage is not great on offense, but I think he's a very well-designed, cool, intricate champion. Definitely one of the best. And of course, defense goes without question. Still one of the nastiest defenders around, and a must for any battleground deck. And he's just a really interesting champion where I feel like was perfectly designed for him in the comic coming to life in the game. And the very top is Serpent. This was also a struggle thinking about Serpent. And we all know about Serpent and his just amazing defensive ability. I just played him in the Gods challenge in Karina's challenges, and so much fun on offense. So much fun, just really powerful and good and interesting and tanky and all these things. But he's such a versatile, powerful defender, and on top of that, a very reasonable offensive champion as well. And so I think like if anyone said, who must I have of all these champions in my deck? I feel like everyone would say Serpent, or maybe not everyone. Maybe 9 out of 10 would say like Serpent is the one that I must have in my deck. And I know it's a lot of Battlegrounds defensive thought in it, but also I think he's that good a champion. He's the one we talk about the most. He's the one that we like everyone has an opinion on, and whether good or bad. And everyone says about Serpent, like, well, he was designed to be this terribly nasty defender. Please don't make another one. I mean, that alone, it sort of says it, because it's like different for Patriot when we're like, please don't make another one because no one wants him and no one plays him. But Serpent, I mean, he was designed to be a crazy good defender, and he is. And I mean, we need those in the game. If not, we're just rolling over everyone. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the crazy big tanky defenders. But the fact that he's also fun on on offense too, and usable, I think is really important as well. Because we do have some champions who are sort of like pure defenders. Let's take Quark, for instance. And of course, I know plenty of people play Quark on offense, but really he's defender. I don't really enjoy playing Quark that much. Like Serpent, I actually enjoy playing. I think he's fun as an offensive champion. So there you go. Those are my tiers and ranking for 2024. Again, I think a really good year. I feel like it maybe started off a little lackluster. I can't remember what was the first champion to drop in the very beginning after Onslaught. Was it Dust? But they seem to get better and better as we got closer to the end. I think Kabam maybe realized that we need to like up the game a little bit for 2024, and so I think it ended really strong. I feel like there was a lot of just really cool, interesting new champions that added to the game. And I'm really impressed the game designers can keep on coming up with amazing champions for us to play and want to play. And so, it must be a challenge in 2025. I'm sure it'll be no different, where they have to figure out who they're going to make and how they're going to be. So, it's fun. It keeps the game interesting, of course. I know there's this idea of like the old champions are taking over the new champions. Like when we think about 7 stars nowadays, You know, there's a lot of intentional decisions they've made about champions who haven't progressed to 7 stars to sort of give us a new meta. And so, the classic example, of course, Hercules, Dr. Doom, Nick Fury, Hulkling, Galen, Scorpion. I mean, all these champions who are like great champions, future Ant-Man, Ghost Rider. And now I don't think we're going to see them as 7 stars. And I agree. I think it's a way to keep the game fresh. And you're learning new champions. And we're not all just like playing our 7-star Hercules as our only champion. Sort of like what happened to Blade and Ghost. And it's the evolution of the game that I think is important to keep it exciting, fun, and fresh. And so let me know what you think about my tier list. Was I right? Was I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I sane? All those things, of course. Please comment below. Tell me what you want your own tier list. I'll link up the Google Sheet so you can have a look at it if you don't want to watch the whole video. And I hope to get your feedback and comments. And I'll see you soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.